Okay, guys,
Yeah.
we will start up doing some knife tricks. Most important thing is to sharpen your knife, not like this. So look here, you have to control what you do when you cut the knife or when you sharpen it. Everything about cutting is control. So Justin, will you show, everybody knows I'm a butcher.
Yeah.
That's my education, but actually you can take a lot of stuff from doing my butcher job to the car because everything is all about being safe.
Absolutely.
So Justin, will you please start up, show some nice tricks using a knife?
Yeah. So a lot of you are right now are rappers, and you know what I'm talking about right now. So a lot of the time when you're working on a car, you want to use a knife, obviously. And so right now we're going to do a special on how to do safe cuts on a car. Okay. So most of the time you're going to use a knife, and what I like to use personally is this is an NT cutter knife, and it's plastic. And the reason why I like it is when I'm cutting, let's say if I'm cutting at the front of the hood right now, is I literally am pushing my knife against the edge. So I'm pushing against the car, and the side of my blade is actually pushing up against the edge, all right? Because a lot of people use metal knives right now, and if you use a metal knife, you have to float your knife away from the edge because you don't want to scratch the car. With a plastic knife, what I can do is I can literally push the knife against the car, and it keeps it on the edge. Really safe cut. So I highly recommend to you, all of you right now, is to try to get a plastic knife around a car. It's not as sexy as a metal knife, but for me it's functional because I can push it against the car. But the biggest thing for me is this is a multi-cartridge knife, so when the cartridge gets down, I click it back and I have a fresh blade. So this literally holds 5 blades. Because as I'm working on the car, I'm constantly clicking my blade, and having a fresh, sharp blade is really important. So once I click it and I know it's sharp, literally I put it against the edge and I cut. And again, in the workshops I teach worldwide, I mean, I'm not looking at what I'm doing right now. So I can cut on the car and not stress. So for me, that's a big one. So again, that's just basic cutting, is use a plastic knife on a car. But what changed a while ago is Knifeless Tech Systems came out with this product years ago. In 2010, they launched it with Fellers in the United States. And this is a product from Canada. Really cool. And they started off with what's called Finish Line. Finish Line is a Kevlar string, and what this does is it cuts the material for you without using a knife. A lot of you guys know this product now. So this was the original product, and then what they came out with about a year and a half later, 2 years later, was what's called Design Line. Design Line has a different string that's more flexible and it stretches, so you can do curves, lots of different tricks like that. And then they came out with Tri-Line. Tri-Line has 3 strings. It's like the Jimmy Page of knifeless tapes. Really cool stuff, and you can do a lot of different things with that. And then what they are coming out with right now is what's called CPR line. So this is a different string, it's metal, and this really is good for cutting chrome, cutting all sorts of stuff, and it also cuts PPF. So for me, we're very lucky right now to have Phil Aquin from Canada. He's the Knifeless Tech, he does all the demonstrations for Knifeless Tech Systems. So right now, Phil's gonna come on and explain the products, and we're gonna show you lots of tips and tricks to use this tape, because for me, this not only helps like if you wanna do striping on the car, but we're going to show lots of tips and tricks of how to wrap the car under certain areas like headlights without having to take them off, where you get that color change finish without having to do hard removal. So why don't Phil jumps on right now. Phil's going to sneak in right here.
Got it. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
So how about we start with the finish line?
Okay. So what are you going to do right now?
Well, finish line, okay, so you were showing how to use your knife on the car. Right? So now we're going to show you how I would not use a knife, but it's just so I know it's going to be perfect at all times.
Right.
So, there we go.
Because again, if you use your knife, even if you're a good installer, there's always that chance of cutting the car.
Right.
And there's some companies or some clients, let's say they have a Lamborghini, that Lamborghini in the Oppa booth, okay? You cut that car, you just have a very expensive bill when that wrap comes off, okay? So for those type of jobs, it's really good to run knifeless tape right now. So why are you using the finish line right now?
Because it's a hidden cut. You know your line's not going to break on you. So I always use finish lines for anything that we're going to do our finishing trimming on.
I mean, just so you guys, if you guys don't know knifeless tape, if it's yellow on the inside, that's design. And if I put design down, I can break it with my finger. If I do that with finish line, I can't break it with my finger. I have to use my knife. But that means it's a very strong string.
Speaking of knife. Okay. So you want to make sure your tail is about 6 inches. Oh, wow. Millimeters. So what's a millimeter version of this? Or centimeter?
Like a half a centimeter.
Half a centimeter. Okay. So we're going to bring it. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Okay.
And so again, knifeless tape, obviously you're going to put it on before you wrap anything. So it's all about prep.
Just need a small little piece.
What?
Just a small little piece.
Yeah, I got it. So we got that here. Nice catch. So again, for me, this is one of those things where it does take time to set up, but the payoff is when in the finish, not only is it going to be a very quick cut, but it's going to be a confident cut, and then you don't cut the car. So again, a little bit of setup here. And again, notice that he uses the application glove a lot when he sets this stuff up, because he wants his finger to glide on that edge. Sometimes if you use your finger, it can stick a little bit. But now what he does is once he has it set up, he's running his finger over the knifeless tape, and this really forms a nice good seal on the string. All right, very important. So he's running it back and forth. And imagine that the hood is wrapped now. So again, he's wrapping the hood for this setup here. Gets that air out, so again, pulls it up nice and clean. So again, imagine the hood is perfect, it's done. And this is what he's going to do at the very end. So prep, 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 make sure it's set up, runs his finger along. Now he's going to come up to the front, and notice that he left about 6 to 7 centimeters extra at the end. He's going to use this, he's going to fold, hold the fold, and then pull quick, and that releases the string. And then when he gets to the edge, what he does is he puts his finger on the material so that the material doesn't jump up as he pulls, and then he pulls very quick flat. And that cuts the material for you. And then now what he's done is he's literally cut the excess material away. And what that leaves him, if you can see really close up, is it leaves about a ½ a centimeter of extra material. So with that extra centimeter of material, it then wraps underneath the hood, super safe and super symmetrical. So again, it's one of those things where, do you do this on a commercial wrap? No. But do you do this on a Lamborghini? I hope so. All right. So again, very different styles and techniques, and he's using a really cool tool that hooks under the edge so that he doesn't have to pick up the hood. So again, trying to save seconds and time. So again, this is a really cool tool that is really formed straight. So that's a new special tool for that. Yeah, special tool, very cool. All right, so that's finish line. So what I also want to show is how to tuck the material underneath the headlight without having to take it on. So again, now Phil's going to use finish line again. Now what I want everyone to appreciate right now is on a headlight, if we can come over here with the camera, is right now, let's say for a color change, if we cut on the material now, we bridge it over the light, we're going to cut on the side of the light with a knife, okay? And if we did that and folded the material under the light, it would come up short, all right? So this is why for color change, it doesn't work. So a lot of guys, installers, take the headlight out, which can take a lot of time, all right? Sometimes you void the warranty of the car. But what Phil's going to show is a nice little technique with knifeless tape, and obviously you would never cut on the light with your knife. And this is where knifeless tape really comes into play. So imagine that Phil's wrapping the bumper, and we're not going to wrap the whole bumper. I just want to give you guys the idea, is that he's taking knifeless tape now and running it about, I would say, ½ a centimeter above the edge where you normally cut with your knife. So, but exactly, right. So again, what he's going to do now is he's going to get this material, maybe a little longer piece for this one. And again, what I try to show, like I'm the owner of the Wrap Institute. It's a streaming video platform. And I have a lot of, Phil and I were in Dallas, Texas, where my headquarters are. We made 25 videos for knifeless tech systems. And this is one of the videos that I have on the site. And it's now on the knifeless site as well. It's these type of tricks that save you money. For me, it's really, really important to wrap your head around this because, again, how long did it take Phil to set up the knifeless tape here? Maybe a minute. Then once he wraps it, maybe a minute to install. But to take off those headlights would take 20 minutes because you have to loosen the bumper and do stuff. And then you have to put them back, that's 40 minutes. So all these things, you're getting the same quality as taking off the light without having to take off the light. And for me, that's really important because wrapping cars is all about time and money, absolutely. So now that he has it set up, and again, it ran the finger, application glove, fold, hold, pull the string. Once the string releases, again, watch how quickly and flat he pulls. Nice and even, straightforward. And then he gets a nice, good, clean cut all the way out. And then he's going to pull the excess material away. Nice and easy.
Green tape still underneath.
And he leaves the green tape here. If you can notice here, right here, all right, he left the filament under, all right? And the reason why he left the filament under is because the filament has low surface energy. So with the filament now, he can pull the filament out and then tuck the material under as he pulls in one shot. That keeps the material from sticking onto the light, which can cause it to overstretch, okay? Very cool technique there. It's almost like using masking tape sometimes. So again, good tip for that. And then Phil goes after the angles first, but notice now he's gotten fully under the light as far as he needs to go to make the client happy. Done, all right? I see a lot of installers try to wrap all the way under the light like another 5 centimeters. Why? There's no point, all right? He's done his job. He's done a color change. The client's never going to take out the headlight to see if you wrap under there. So why wrap under there? And plus, in 3 years when the client goes to take the wrap off, or you do, he doesn't have to take the headlight off. so he saves money on the front end and the back end. Very important. You can only do that with knifeless tape. So very cool technique there.
There's actually a plastic piece here, so you might want to take a knife now and run it in there so it gets deeper.
Exactly. So different tips and tricks for that. So now what I want to show is that same idea then of wrapping farther inside the car, of how to do that on the glass. And so basically right here is that on some vehicles on the front, okay, you have soft rubber molding. Okay, that soft rubber molding, you're going to use like a tucking tool. This is the Avery Dennison Flex Stream where you're going to pull the rubber aside and tuck it under. But this one doesn't have any rubber. So for a color change, how do you wrap the material under there safely without having to tuck it in and cut it with your knife? So Phil's going to show now with knifeless tape, and even maybe sometimes it depends on how far and deep you want to go. Is maybe you use it with masking tape, but I think you could do it with finish line, and it depends on how deep you want to go. All right. Some people actually use, in this case, maybe you use bridge line, or we can use tri-line to show how deep. What I think we should do is do tri-line, and Phil and I will just get it right to the edge. Start at the corner, we'll swing it around the groove, okay? And right now we're just, if you can see, we're just getting the green to the front of the window, okay? Because we want this to go in nice and symmetrical. So we'll just stop here for now, and we'll just do one side, okay? Then we'll get some material. So imagine, okay, this is a black car, so it's fairly easy to wrap, but imagine if this was a white car. Very hard to get full coverage, all right? So again, this is a 6mm tri-line, so we got a 6mm gap from the edge to the last string, and that's what Phil's going to focus on now. So now he pulls off the material, and imagine you wrap the roof, all right? Get the material on, and again, you could use bridge line or tri-line, whatever's in your tool bag. But again, we're using a wider knifeless tape to lower the surface energy because Windows has very high surface energy.
So I'm going to go with the middle line,
right?
Because I want to go as deep as I can.
Why don't we go with the outside one?
Or what's that? We could do the outside. Well, we could try the outside. Well, actually, this is kind of like a test.
Yeah.
We could test it.
So this is what you do before the job. You take a scrap and you see how far you have to go. So right now, Phil released the 3 strings, and he's pulling the outside string, the one farthest away from the edge. So I reach over and help Phil out, and I'm going to grab the string here and pull. And the trick is, don't take out the knifeless tape. Leave the green under, because again, that green is a low surface energy. So now Phil gets a squeegee, and now watch. Phil's going to pick it up and squeegee at the same time. Kill 2 birds with 1 squeegee. Tuck it in nice and clean, and again, he's moving and just tucks it in and works at a 45-degree angle. Once he slides it behind, then he's going to come back with a knifeless tape, and now he's far under the window without having it. I mean, what are you going to do? Take out the windshield to do that? No. So you're going to tuck it in far behind, and then you get that full coverage, and you can only do that with knifeless tape. Maybe you could do it with your knife, but again, there's that chance of cutting the window. Take it out of the equation with knifeless tape. For me, it's super cool technique. So again,
and it's perfect inside too.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Phil's perfect because he did a good job. Okay. So again, for me, lots of little tips and tricks with knifeless tape. Now, for me, what's been kind of notorious since 2012, when chrome came on the market, Avery Dennison came out with conform chrome, is how to cut chrome cleanly. All right, that's been a massive problem for a long time. And what we might do is do a nice good close-up of show how the knifeless tape, different types of knifeless tape, cuts the chrome. Because now this is the new CPR line, and maybe you want to discuss what's the difference between the two so that people know.
Well, the CPR line, it's a sandwich tape now. So we have the filament and the sandwich between 2 tapes. Okay.
So what I want you to understand is with the old knifeless tape is the string is right on the adhesive side. So the string actually touches the surface, and when I release the string, it actually cuts the green line in half. Okay, so then you get 2 pieces of green. But with the blue line right here, okay, it's encapsulated. You have a blue layer, the string, and then the layer on top. So now both come out after you make a cut. Really cool, all right? So again, the reason why they do that is the string now is not a string, it's wire. So if that wire touches the car, it scratches the car. That's the only reason.
So protects the car.
It protects the car. So now, maybe we just do a demonstration now with just straight CPR. Now CPR is a different setup though than regular knifeless tape, just so you can understand. It's just as flexible as design line, but it's different, okay? The reason why it's different is you usually start it, release the string beforehand, I think. Yeah?
Yep.
So what Phil's gonna do now is,
okay, so to start the tape, it's the exact same way as design line, finish line. The only difference, pull slowly. So you want your fingers close together, and instead of snapping it, just pull slow, and then you'll get the wire every time.
Right.
So then
we're
we're
you
just
clearly
gonna
see that it's a wire. And then what Phil's gonna do is he's gonna put chrome on top, And again, what's different about chrome? Why is chrome hard to cut? Okay. The reason why chrome is hard to cut is it's a multi-layered film, and plus it's a metallicized layer, so it doesn't like to get cut very easy. But with the wire, watch how easily the wire just cuts through the chrome. Super, super clean. And notice that Phil goes perpendicular to the line he's cutting on. And now, we got a perfect clean edge that you can never get before. And again, this is why they developed CPR, is you got a razor-like, it looks like it was cut on a plotter. It's a really cool stuff, okay? So for me, CPR is really good. And so now what I would like to talk about is how to do an overlap with chrome, okay? Because right now, if you notice, what's the difference with chrome right now, okay, is that this is 152 and this is 120, all right? So let's say you were wrapping this hood, you might have to do an overlap on the body line. Might have to, okay? So what I want to show is with chrome that you can do nice, good, clean overlaps that blend into the body lines, and that maybe helps save you, I'd like to say, on a bumper, okay? Right. So what Phil's going to do is he's going to set it up here on the body line, and we'll just kind of wrap this in 2 pieces right now. Notice how he's pulling from the roll. He's not pulling from the line. He's holding the roll, and then he kind of lines it with his finger. He looks about 5 inches or about 15 centimeters above in front of his hand. As you can tell, Phil and I have worked together. Okay? And then at this point, because we're creating an overlap, you always want to think about where the client is looking, all right? If the overlap is facing this way, the client's going to see a white line. So you want to make sure that the overlap faces this way. So the first piece he's going to put down is actually on the middle of the hood, okay? So you always want to think about visual, all right? So again, Phil lines it up here. And again, normally we'd be using a wet app squeegee, but in this case, we're just using a monkey strip. So he's just going to set it on here and just come all the way down, nice and easy. Work in sections, and notice he's leaving the backing paper on to create a nice, good, even flow, keep the tension nice and even, and just squeegee it all the way down to the front, nice and even. And again, we don't have to wrap the whole hood. I just really want you guys to focus on the overlap, nice and easy. Then he's going to pull it up to the front. And again, notice he's left the material about, we got about 6 centimeters at the top, 6 centimeters at the front, nice and easy. So imagine that the middle part of the hood is wrapped. Very straightforward. Backing paper goes under the car because Phil is a professional. And then same thing here. Watch how he releases the wire. He holds both the edge of the material and folds it at the same time.
Make sure it's nice and tight underneath the vinyl too.
Yeah.
Still.
So he's holding it up against his finger. Then he gets a nice seal. Then he pulls away. So again, folds, holds, pull, but both at the same time. Pulls the string. And what's interesting now, watch. He pulls the top off, but instead of having 2 come out, he has 1. Really, that's the difference with CPR. And then he's going to run his finger to seal the edge. Very, very, very important to seal that edge. So now that that's set, and look how clean that line is, he's going to come back, and right now the string is about 3 millimeters inside the edge. It's really right in the middle. So he's lining the edge of the blue with the edge of what he just cut. So it's going to create about a 3 millimeter overlap on the inside. So notice that he's really focused right now. He's not checking his emails. He's not, talking to anyone. He gets a nice, good, clean overlap from top to bottom, okay? And then he's going to come back with another piece of chrome. And what I hope you guys appreciate, that chrome is really cheap. So now he gets it set up at the top, nice and even. And right now he's getting a nice, good, straight line at the top. And then I kind of pull the backing paper. So now imagine that he's wrapping the other side of the fender right now. And what you're going to see is in the competition this afternoon, the guys are going to start wrapping the helmets. And you're going to see a lot of knifeless tape on those helmets because this is what it's for, is these really tricky cuts on the body, okay? On those helmets, if those guys start hand cutting on top of the helmet and we take the helmet off and we see cuts, they lose, all right? So this is why you use knifeless tape, because if we cut on this car for Audi, we lose, all right? Because Audi's not going to be happy at all.
There we go.
So again, I'm just adding a hand on the curve. I'll keep it up nice and high. So now imagine that it's done. So again, you have to do this with chrome based on the size. We'd love to have 60-inch or 152 wide chrome, but that's just really hard to make. Not very many companies make 152 chrome. So now look how flat and low he's pulling. Very low and flat, nice and clean.
You can stop and go.
You can stop and go, very cool. And then he's going to pull the excess away. And then he's going to pull the filament. Notice he pulls it about 180 degrees away from the side that he's staying on. And then he's going to go back and seal the deal. And once he seals the deal, you'll see that overlap just disappear into the body line. And if the client, this is just the reality of chrome sometimes, is you have to create that overlap. But again, notice the overlap faces in, and it's just a nice, good, clean edge. And this, again, on the Wrap Institute, for all the videos, one of the most requested videos that I get is how to cut chrome. This is how you cut chrome now, is you cut it with CPR. Very cool stuff, okay? Cool?
Cool.
All right.
Silver.
And the last thing I want to show in this demo right now is the tri-line. Okay, for me, this is a really cool line where this has 3 strings in it, and you can do a lot of different types of things with it. You could do inverted stripes, you could do pin stripes, and you can do butt joints. So that's what Phil's going to show right now. Is he's going to show a lot of different things. Of right now, he'll do maybe striping.
Striping, yeah. We're going to do. Imagine it's a racing stripe.
Maybe get it closer.
Okay, imagine if it's a racing stripe. Okay, we're gonna butt up these 2 tapes together.
Because what's popular now is people like custom stripes on a car.
Yeah.
So instead of going to your plotter and cutting it, you can use knifeless tape.
So this will be your solid stripe, and then we're gonna have our pin stripe on the side. We don't have to remove any tape. We're just gonna throw vinyl over top.
So again, I really want you, I mean, this for me saves a lot of time and money, and you couldn't do this years ago without knifeless tape, without tri-line. It's really revolutionized the industry, not necessarily for commercial wraps, but really for customization, for color change. So again, he bridges the material over, and again, this is Avery Dennison Supreme Wrapping Film. But again, you can use this with any type of films. This isn't sponsored by Avery, this demo, but again, it's very good film.
Okay, so we're gonna get the middle line of your outside stripe. Okay, we just want the middle.
So again, there's 3 strings. He pulled them. And then what he's going to do now is he's going to pull the outside string, or the middle string.
Yeah, middle string.
So he's pulling the middle string.
We're going to take this out. Then we're going to remove all our tape.
So he pulled the middle string, and now he's pulling it all the way out, pulling to the side, nice and sharp.
Now we're going to lock the vinyl down. So for this one here, just pull all the lines. It's quick, fast. Pull all the lines, get the tape out. Now, if you didn't lock that tape down, this stripe would be going all over the place. So there's your racing stripe, quick.
So this is, again, this is kind of what some people call the Tron effect, or you see the original color car and you see the body lines. This is one way to do it for sure, okay? So you can create these and leave it on the car, or you can create your own stripes.
Yep.
So why don't we show you how to do the thin ones and the thicker ones, if we could?
If we were just doing a stripe?
Yeah, you can create your own stripes while you're on the job. So if you don't have a cutting table, okay, what you can do is you can create really small pin stripes or a 6mm wide stripe, okay? So what you're going to do beforehand is I'll set it up for one side. Well, this will be the kind of fat stripe, okay? Is that you can release the 3 strings, okay? And we're going to pull the middle one. Let me pull the middle one out.
Oh, I see what you're going to do. Yeah.
So we'll pull the middle one out, okay? And right now what Phil's going to do is he's just going to create like custom stripes on the fly. Let's say the client wants a wide stripe. So he's going to run it and again pull the middle one out. So now he's going to have a 6mm wide stripe. So right here at the top he pulls one string. Then he's going to come back and pull the other.
Nope, we're going to remove everything.
And then seal it down, otherwise it pops up.
We're going to lock it down.
So once he's got that set, he comes back with the outside string on the other side. And now this is your customized stripe, okay? And sometimes the customers ask for this. So now he has this really cool, exact, precise cut. Nice and easy and straightforward. So now let's say the client likes that, but then you want to accent it a little further. Now you can create 2 smaller ones, now 3mm wide. So what he's going to do is he's going to pull all 3 strings out at the same time. Very cool. And now you see these little tiny pieces right here that you can put on the side, and you can run parallel or you can create little cool shapes next to it. So again, lots of different tips and tricks that you can use with knifeless tape. And again, now it's customization with a minimal amount of film and just having tri-line. Really cool stuff. So again, you got that, and then you come in with the other one, and you could come in from the side and do the exact same thing, nice and cool. So again, with tri-line, really frees you up to do lots of different things on a car. Super cool stuff. And again, this isn't a commercial for knifeless tape, even though it's kind of like a commercial for knifeless tape. They didn't pay for the spot. But again, what Ole and I wanted to do in the show is just give you tips and tricks of how to wrap cars, because again, this is the World Wrap Masters, and we just want to show ideas because wrapping for me is super exciting right now.
Wrapping it's our passion, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I'll give you 5 minutes more, guys. One more trick, right?
Yeah, can we show off the PPF tape?
Yeah, let's show off the PPF. Do we have PPF though? No.
So we can't.
Do you want to do a butt joint?
Let's do a butt joint.
All right,
done.
So Phil right now is going to show you how to do a butt joint, which is really cool because sometimes that comes in handy, especially if you're doing a car with like 2 tones with like carbon or brushed metallic or something like that. So for me, two-tone is, butt joints are super exciting. I just like to even say butt joint.
But isn't it super cool to see the way Phil handled this one? See
Yeah.
the tricks, see his, look at his tools. This is the best tool in the world. Built-in thermometer. You can feel everything. So just watch what he's doing.
Just red?
Yeah, just get 2 reds.
Okay.
We'll butt them together. Okay. So when you're going to do a butt joint, you're going to use a tri-line 6 mil. You don't want no 9 mil because it's too thick. You don't want vinyl 9 mil vinyl stuck under your vinyl.
Yeah,
so
this cuts. Not polyester.
we'll just do a simple curve.
Yes.
It's not PVC free.
No.
Can I speak with somebody who knows about that?
You have a lineup of 3 very friendly guys.
In white.
Again, you don't have to take any filament out. Just put the vinyl over top. And it's so easy that all you have to do is pull the center line. So we'll just get the center line out. Remove your excess.
So you can notice he's pulling to the side, pulling it out. So now he's got the material there, and he's going to pull just, I think that's it?
Yeah, that's it. So it's all out. The tape's underneath, ready for your next piece.
No problem. Thank you. So again, what you do now is you come back with the other piece, put it on the other side. So again, you're creating an overlap, but then you're going to cut away that overlap. So now he's pulling the string, so now he's cutting 3 millimeters on the other side of where the material is cut before.
But through both layers.
But now he cut through both layers.
Yep.
Okay. And now he's going to pull the filament out. And this is really important that you want to pull it the right way. He's pulling everything out at the same time, but trying to minimize the tension on the cut. So he's pulling the one with the tape kind of farther that way. So he's just trying to minimize it. It works really good with Avery film.
Okay, so this is the vinyl we put on last. So it's kind of over top of the other vinyl. So when we squeegee, we're going to squeegee nice and light and go against with the vinyl that we put on last.
So notice that he's really kind of squeegeeing light. He's not pressing too hard, but he's pressing enough that it goes somewhat flat. Very important to think about. And right now you think that Phil didn't do a good job. All right? Because if you got hyper close up, it doesn't look super flat. But this is really key. If you know about PVC film, it stretches and it has memory. So right now he's loading it with heat, gives it a ton of heat, and then he's going to run back with his application glove, and it shrinks back and fits exactly, and then he seals it with his application glove. So he heats about, I'd say about 3 centimeters at a time, and then seals it with his finger. 3 centimeters, seal. And again, this really just makes it fit like a puzzle piece, really important. So again, it's a 3-step process here, but it's very, very, very cool for creating those butt joints. Because again, sometimes you have to create overlaps. This creates a butt joint, and then what you could do is put a really cool stripe on top. And that has a nice flat effect, and they don't have that overlap thing that looks asymmetrical. And then right now, you feel it, and it feels super smooth. Really cool. Feels, you don't,
There's vinyl on
that's a nice carpet right there. Okay. So again, what I want you guys to hope that you got out of this afternoon session is, you know, Phil really knows his stuff. He's been doing this stuff for Knifeless now for how many years? 6 years?
Knifeless is 6 years, yeah.
6 years.
Wow.
Okay, very cool. So again, tomorrow, the demo tomorrow that we're going to be doing is Ole and I are going to show you how to wrap with chrome, with the steamer, and with IR heater. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. And then with the competitions, the 3rd round of the competition starts now. So thank you for watching, everyone, and have a great rest of the afternoon.
Thank you.